The sun hung low over the dusty outskirts of Willow Creek, Texas, casting a golden haze across the cracked asphalt of Route 17. Ellie, a wiry 12-year-old with grease-stained overalls and a braid fraying at the ends, knelt beside a gleaming black Mustang Shelby GT500. Its hood yawned open like a wounded beast, steam hissing from the engine. Ellie's hands moved with quiet precision, her fingers dancing over the radiator hose, tightening a clamp she'd scavenged from her father's old toolbox. She didn't notice the man in the tailored suit pacing nearby, his polished loafers scuffing the gravel. Vincent Caldwell, tech millionaire and proud owner of the broken-down Mustang, checked his watch for the third time in 10 minutes. His board meeting in Dallas was in 2 hours, and this detour through nowhere was bleeding his patience dry. He'd been driving too fast, chasing the thrill of the open road when the engine sputtered and died. Now here he was, stranded, with no signal and no help, except for this kid who'd wandered over from a rickety trailer across the road, claiming she could fix it. "You sure you know what you're doing, kid?" Vincent called, his voice sharp with skepticism. Ellie didn't look up. "Radiator hose is loose. You're leaking coolant. I got it." Her tone was matter of fact, like she was stating the sky was blue. Vincent snorted, folding his arms. A millionaire's car handled by a girl who looked like she hadn't seen a proper meal in weeks? Absurd. Yet, he had no other options. The nearest tow truck was an hour out, and the girl had been eerily confident when she'd marched over, toolbox in hand. Ellie worked in silence, her small frame dwarfed by the Mustang's sleek lines. She'd learned to fix things out of necessity, her dad's old Chevy, the trailer's creaky generator, even the neighbor's lawnmower. Money was tight since her mom left and her dad's construction jobs dried up. Every bolt she tightened was a small victory, a way to keep the world from falling apart. As she wiped sweat from her brow, Vincent studied her. The girl's shoes were worn thin, her knuckles scraped raw. Her trailer home, visible across the road, sagged under the weight of neglect, its paint peeling like old skin. Yet there was something in her eyes, a stubborn spark that refused to flicker out. "Done," Ellie announced, slamming the hood shut. She stepped back, wiping her hands on her overalls. "Start her up." Vincent raised an eyebrow but slid into the driver's seat. The engine roared to life, smooth and powerful, no trace of the earlier sputter. He blinked, genuinely impressed. "Well, I'll be damned," he muttered, stepping out. "How'd you learn to do that?" Ellie shrugged. "Dad taught me some. Rest I figured out." Vincent reached for his wallet, pulling out a crisp $100 bill. "Here, for your trouble." Ellie stared at the money, then shook her head. "Don't need it. Just don't drive her so hard next time. She's a good car." Vincent froze, the bill dangling between them. In his world, people clawed for every dollar, every favor. This girl, living in a trailer that looked one storm away from collapse, was turning down cash. "You serious?" he asked, almost offended. "Yep." Ellie picked up her toolbox and started walking back toward the trailer. Vincent watched her go, a strange knot forming in his chest. He'd built a fortune coding algorithms that predicted human behavior, yet this kid was an anomaly he couldn't compute. He climbed into the Mustang, but instead of driving off, he sat there, engine idling, staring at the trailer's crooked porch. The next morning, Ellie woke to the sound of gravel crunching outside. She peeked through the trailer's cracked window and saw the Mustang parked in the same spot as yesterday. Vincent stood beside it, holding a paper bag and looking awkwardly out of place in his pristine suit. "Hey, kid," he called, spotting her. "Got a minute?" Ellie stepped outside, wary. "Car brake again?" "No, she's purring like a kitten, thanks to you." Vincent held up the bag. "Brought breakfast. Figured you and your dad might like some." Ellie hesitated. Strangers didn't just show up with food, not in Willow Creek. But Vincent's eyes were earnest, almost nervous. She nodded, leading him inside. The trailer was cramped, the air thick with the smell of stale coffee and motor oil. Ellie's dad, Tom, sat at a wobbly table, his hands wrapped around a chipped mug. He looked up, surprised, as Vincent introduced himself. "Ellie fixed my car yesterday," Vincent explained, setting the bag on the table. "Thought I'd say thanks." Tom's face softened. That's my girl. Got a knack for it. Over bagels and cream cheese, Vincent learned their story. Tom had been a mechanic before a back injury sidelined him. Ellie had picked up his tools, teaching herself to keep their world running. They were scraping by on odd jobs and food stamps, but pride kept them from asking for help. Vincent listened, his usual guarded demeanor cracking. He'd grown up in a penthouse, insulated from struggle. This family's resilience, their quiet dignity, hit him like a freight train. When he left, he promised to return. Over the next week, Vincent became a regular visitor. He brought groceries, tools, even a new pair of sneakers for Ellie. But it was the time he spent with them that mattered most. Sitting on the porch, listening to Tom's stories, or watching Ellie tinker with an old carburetor, he started to see the world through their eyes, where kindness wasn't a transaction but a currency of its own. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Vincent arrived with a different look in his eyes. "Ellie, Tom, I've been thinking," he said, sitting on the porch steps. "I want to do something for you. Not just food or shoes, something real." Tom frowned. "We don't take charity, Vincent." "It's not charity," Vincent said firmly. "It's a partnership. Ellie, you've got a gift. I want to open a garage in town, and I want you and Tom to run it. I'll fund it, you make it work. 50-50. Ellie's eyes widened. Tom leaned forward, speechless. "You're serious?" he finally managed. "Dead serious," Vincent said. "And there's more. I'm setting up a scholarship fund for kids like Ellie. Smart, scrappy, stuck in places like this. I want her to have a shot at college, engineering, whatever she dreams of." Ellie's throat tightened. She'd never thought beyond the next repair, the next bill. Now this man she'd met by chance was offering her a future. "Why?" she whispered. "Why us?" Vincent looked at her, his voice soft but steady. "Because you reminded me what matters. I've spent years chasing money, power, control. Then I met a kid who fixed my car for free and asked for nothing. That's real. That's what changes everything." Tears welled in Ellie's eyes, but she blinked them back. Tom reached for her hand, his own eyes misty. "Okay," he said, voice rough. "We're in." The garage opened 3 months later, a gleaming beacon on Route 17. Ellie and Tom ran it like they'd been born for it, their laughter echoing through the bays. The scholarship fund grew, lifting kids from Willow Creek and beyond. Vincent, once a stranger, became family, his Mustang a fixture in the garage's lot. Years later, at Ellie's high school graduation, Vincent sat in the front row, grinning as she crossed the stage, bound for MIT. In her valedictorian speech, she spoke of kindness, of how one small act, fixing a stranger's car, could ripple outward, touching lives she'd never imagined. As the crowd applauded, Vincent leaned back, his heart full. He'd come to Willow Creek chasing a thrill, but he'd found something far greater, a purpose, a family, a reason to believe in the goodness of people. And it all started with a poor little girl who fixed his Mustang, and fixed his soul in the process.